Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihare Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Kunja Vihare Gopi Janagana Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janagana Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihare Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihare Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihare Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihare Jai Gopi Janagallava Jai Gopi Janagallava Jai Gopi Janagallava Jai Girivaradhari Jai Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihare Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya. Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Today we'll be looking at chapter 18 of Canto 10, verses 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And these verses don't have a purport except for 8, has a very short purport. And these verses, I think I'm going to take this, I'll go right if I take this out. So these verses, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the backdrop, like 1 and 2, to the pastimes of Sri Krishna. And the backdrop is absolutely astonishing, it's most beautiful. And so we can penetrate into the pastimes by listening to the backdrop and how everything is getting ready and prepared for Krishna's coming onto the scene. Krishna's coming onto the scene again in verse number 8, and that's where we'll stop. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Again, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 18, verses 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Begin with number 4. Please repeat. Yatra nirjhara niradha nivritta swanajilikam Shasvata chikararjisha Druma mandala manditam. The third line is a little bit of a tongue twister. Yatra nirjhara nirhada nivritta swanajilikam Shasvata chikararjisha Druma mandala manditam. Yatra nirjhara nirhadha nivritta swanajilikam Shasvata chikararjisha Druma mandala manditam. Devotees, please. Yatra nirjara nirradha. Nivrita swanajilika. Shasvata chika jartisha. Druma mandala manditam. Chala nirada. I'm trying to put it up. Nivrita swanajilikam. Okay, this is good, this is good. Shasvata chikararjisha. Thank you. Ruma mandala manditam. Chatra nirjhara nirradha. Nivrita swanajilikam. Shasvachachikararjisha. Druma mandala manditam. Anybody else? Like to try? I was going to do this with a ukulele, but then I decided, well, this is too much of a tongue twister, so let's play it safe. Please repeat. Yatra, in which Vrindavan? Nirjhara, of the waterfalls. Nirhada, by the resounding. Nivrita, stopped. Swana, the sound. Jilikam, of the crickets. Shasvat, constant. Tat, of those waterfalls. Shikara, by the drops of water. Drijisha, moistened. Druma, of trees. Mandala, with the groups. Manditam, decorated. E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Nirvanda Jagatpate Vishnu Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radha Vrindavamishwari Vishwanasturi Pranamami Harite. E Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, with your blessings, the blessings of the acharyas, the blessings of the gurus, I hope to be able to maybe convey something that can be of value to all of you. Translation. In Vrindavan, the loud sound of waterfalls covered the cricket's noise, and clusters of trees constantly moistened by spray from those waterfalls beautified the entire area. This and the following 3 verses describe how Vrindavan manifested the features of spring even during the summer season. So the point that's being made here, even it is summer, everything feels like spring. It is the most pleasant of all the seasons, the most enjoyable. The pastimes during the spring season are super excellent pastimes. Of course, all the pastimes are super excellent. But there is a certain delight, special delight, about witnessing and participating in the pastimes of Sri Krishna during the spring season. During the summer in Vrindavan, I'm reading from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, the sound of the waterfalls covered the sounds of the crickets. It was decorated with groups of trees constantly touched by drops of water from the waterfalls. This is, like I said at the very beginning, setting the scene for new pastimes. The pastime in this case is going to be the killing of a demon. And these verses describe the forest, and in verse 8, Krishna is entering the forest. And Srila Jiva Goswami says that these verses are going to be examined one by one, even though they are a cluster of verses that put together a setup for Krishna to enjoy the pastimes and everybody else in Vrindavan, all his associates, to enjoy the pastimes with Sri Krishna. In Vrindavan there was the sound of waterfalls, the echoing sound of crickets and trees with moist water drops, or there was the sound of crickets covered by the sound of waterfalls, which gave the illusion of the monsoon season. There was no sadness, only joy. Everything was beautifully decorated, and some of the decorations were made by groups of trees covered in moisture from the waterfalls. Also, we have to understand that the trees covered in moisture from the water from the waterfalls is also another image that represents coolness. In other words, pacifying the heat and giving the residents of Vrindavan just the right temperature for them to enjoy the pastimes. Yatra means Vrindavan, but also yatra can mean for these reasons mentioned above, as explained in the verse itself. Let's go to verse number 5. Sarit sara prashravar normi vayuna kalara kanchot palarenu harina navidyate yatra vanauka samdavo nidagga vanyarka bhavotri shadvale. And of course we understand that these verses and all the verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially these that are describing a beautiful environment, are musically very attractive. And all of these verses could be sung, and they can be sung, and we sing them when we talk about these verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, because here we're dealing with song, we're dealing with music, we're dealing with beauty, we're dealing with poetry, and everything is so beautiful and so attractive and so joyful and so joyful. Translation to verse 5. The wind wafting over the waves of the lakes and flowing rivers carried away the pollen of many varieties of lotuses and water lilies, and then cooled the entire Vrindavan area. Thus, the residents there did not suffer from the heat generated by the blazing summer sun and seasonal forest fires. Indeed, Vrindavan was abundant with fresh green grass. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Vrindavan was cool in the summer because of the breezes rising from the waves of the rivers. The rivers are explained to be very deep, and they are producing waves, and the waves are moving back and forth. There are lots of rivers, there are lots of lakes. Everything can be really moistened, and the sun cannot quite dry everything. There's so much water that everything is kept moist and very, very cool and refreshing. The winds, which were like thieves stealing unnoticed and silently the pollen from the lotuses, blew gently, full of fragrance, because all the fragrance from all the flowers being carried by these gentle winds, and gave relief from the heat. So everything is conducive and everything is consciously manifesting their power to reduce the heat for the beauty of the pastimes and the comfort of the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. Remember that in the spiritual world everything is conscious, so everything is rendering service. We have seen how the animals render service. We are seeing how the trees render service, how the grass renders service, how the breezes carrying all these wonderful aromas are consciously serving the Supreme Lord. Through the summer sun, though the summer sun usually dries everything, it did not do so in Vrindavan. The places were full of tender green grass. The environment was most beguiling. And let's go to verse 6. Agadato yaradini tatormibhir travat purisha pulinai samantataha Nayatra chandam shukara visholbana bhuvo rasam shadvalitam chagrenate. With their flowing waves, the deep rivers drenched their banks, making them damp and muddy. Thus the rays of the sun, which were as fierce as poison, could not evaporate the earth's sap or parch its green grass. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that one reason for the absence of the heat of the sun was mentioned previously. It is the tall trees that are giving shade. The tall trees were present, and the tall trees are doing this service of providing the shade. And Jiva Goswami is saying, why is the grass green? Since the water is deep, the river always creates waves and tends to be broad. Because the many banks and because the waves touch the shores of the deep lakes, the fierce rays of the sun could remove the muddy earth moisture which produced grass. In other words, it wasn't uncomfortably damp. It was just dry enough to be able to keep the moisture to produce the grass. So everything is done so exquisitely. The engineering of the whole setup is absolutely perfect. Or because the banks are muddy by the waves touching the shores of the deep lakes, the fierce rays of the sun could remove the earth's moisture with grass. So the grass is serving also, consciously serving a certain purpose to beautify and to make the environment pleasant. And it is explained here by Sri Jiva Goswami that there's, like I said before, there are plenty of water in the Vrindavan area, the river, all the lakes. And let's go to text 7. Vanam kusumitam shrinan nandachitra mriga dvijam gayam mayura brahmaram kujjat kokila sarasam. Translation. Flowers beautifully decorated the forest of Vrindavan, and many varieties of animals and birds filled it with sounds. The peacocks and bees sang, and the cuckoos and cranes cooed. Jiva Goswami says, Srila Jiva Goswami says that the beauty is described. The forests were spread with unlimited blossoming flowers. There were some of the qualities of spring manifested. Birds are mentioned, and peacocks in particular, though included among birds, are mentioned to show a different type of beauty. So we know that peacocks are very beautiful animals, and I don't know if anybody has seen white peacocks, but white peacocks are also extremely attractive. And when they open the wing, the tail, they're absolutely, it's like china, like the most delicate china. What? In New Vrindavan, they had white ones? No. So let's go now to text 8. Now the punchline comes in. Now what's happening? Krishna is appearing on the scene. Well, he appeared before, but now with all these descriptions of the setup of the environment, now he's ready to perform his pastimes. Gridisha manastat Krishno Bhagavan balasam yutaha Venum viranayan gopair godhanai samvrito vishat. So these verses lend themselves to beautiful melodies. There are so many melodies one can apply for singing these verses. Translation. Intending to engage in pastimes, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, accompanied by Lord Balaram and surrounded by the cowherd boys and the cows, entered the forest of Vrindavan as he played his flute. So please, let us all read this very beautiful verse. You don't have it now? All right, so I guess I'm supposed to read it again myself. But if you have the verse in your computer, your iPad, or whatever, your tablet, let's read it together. Intending to engage in pastimes, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, accompanied by Lord Balaram and surrounded by the cowherd boys and the cows, entered the forest of Vrindavan as he played his flute. So Krishna likes to do all these pastimes that are astonishing, and not only astonishing, but they are astonishingly amazing, beautiful, exciting, surprising. He can perform all these activities in ways that really waves of emotion appear in our consciousness. And Jiva Goswami says, Krishna desired, it's okay, no, I mean, let's focus on the class now. Srila Jiva Goswami says, Krishna desires some special play since he is endowed with pastimes which attract the universe, and since he is Bhagavan, endowed with all qualities. He was accompanied especially samyutaha by Balaram. The special purpose will be shown later. Why he's coming with Sri Balaram is going to be shown later. He played his flute in a special way with a desire to excite everyone with bliss in expectation of playing. He set in the mood with the beautiful music from his flute, which is coming from his heart. He was surrounded by cowherd boys and a wealth of cows, since the cows are suitable for the play of cowherd boys. For the cows are also performing their services, that's for sure. But the cows are like an excuse for Krishna to take them to the forest with his friends so they can have amazing pastimes together, so they can relate in the most intimate and loving ways. With this endless variety of different games and activities that never get boring. Sometimes we play the same game several times, and after a while we say, okay, let's change. But here, the change is constant, it's continuous, and Krishna is performing these amazing, amazing games and amazing pastimes that are filling his devotees, in this case, the boys, in the specific section, with ever newer and newer waves of excitement and pleasure. So this is something that we are invited to join in. So when we hear these narrations that are so sweet and so delectable, we can meditate in observing what's going on and decide, yes, this is so attractive, I want to be there. I want to be there with the boys, or I want to be there with the gopis, or I want to be there. I want to be there, and I want to express my love and my devotion to the Supreme Lord with acts of service, because service by itself is dry. But when service is born of profound love, it's the most extraordinary activity, and is full of all bliss. So when we read these verses, let us focus on the beauty. Let us focus on the poetry. Let us focus on the musical quality of these verses. And let's be carried by these verses to closer and closer to our opportunity to join the Supreme Lord in a personal exchange of love with endless manifestations of love through service. So when I was reading these verses, I was thinking, there are some verses in the Bhagavatam, there's a verse specifically in the Brahma Samhita, in the Bhagavad Gita, that deal with these points that are being presented in these 5 verses. So I would like to read, first of all, from Canto 10, verse number 35. It's Bhagavad Gita Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 35, where it says, Brihat samatata samnam Gayatri chandasam maham Manasam marga shirshoham Ritunam Kusumakaraha. Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama. And notice that this Brihat Sama is very important, and I'll explain why in a minute. And of poetry, I am the Gayatri. The Gayatri is exquisite expression, musical expression of the deepest truths. Of months, I am Margashirsha, which is November, December. And of seasons, I am flowering, bearing, spring. Taking into consideration that this pastime is taking place during the summer with the appearance of spring, so I decided to bring it up to the class. It has already, this is the purport by Srila Prabhupada, I'll read some sections here. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, He is the Samaveda. Why? The Samaveda is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihat Sama, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. Let us all avail ourselves of all these opportunities to become immersed in this mood of melody and poetry. Amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam because the Gayatri Mantra is especially meant for God realization. It represents the Supreme Lord. So when we chant our Gayatri 3 times a day, let's be really conscious of this chanting. Let's not rush the chanting of the Gayatri Mantra. Let's meditate on everything that's being recited or that's being sung if we decide to sing it, because this is the mantra for achieving God realization. And not only that, it's the mantra that has been given to us in our line, in our parampara, for our Guru Maharaj to open the door to what is our Sai Baba, what is our personal relationship with the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Are we in the mood of servants, or is our role that of a friend, or we have maternal feelings toward the Supreme Lord, or are we one of His beloveds, as a Manjari or as a Saki? So the Gayatri Mantra is very important. The Gayatri Mantra is exquisite. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. And going to the bottom, it says, talking about the months and the different seasons, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. So this is the environment that is being depicted in this Canto 10, Chapter 18, at the beginning of the chapter, to set up the scene for these pastimes that are happening in this chapter. It is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, and it is the representative of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. So, does anybody have any comments or questions? I'm going to talk a little bit about the Brahma Samhita, but if anybody wants to maybe express a realization or make a comment or ask a question, I'll take a couple of minutes. Yes, it's what we call second initiation. That's correct. You're absolutely correct. It's activated by your Guru Maharaj giving it to you. And then you're very good, because so many people are chanting the first line of the Gayatri Mantra, which for us is 7 lines. And it's known everywhere. You go to yoga studios right there on the wall, and people are chanting it. So accessing that mantra is available. Now, if you want to open up your heart to your guru when he's chanting that mantra becomes activated. You're absolutely right. So that's something to really look forward to, because it gives us the perfection. Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, we'll go to the next verse that I picked, because everything that is expressed in these verses is there in this verse of the Brahma Samhita, which is verse number 56. So I'll read the verse and listen carefully, because you will see that all of these elements that this chapter 18 is bringing up to create an absolutely amazing environment for Krishna's pastimes is right here in this verse. I worship that transcendental seat known as Shwetadvip, where as loving consorts, the Lakshmis in their unalloyed spiritual essence practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover. Now here the word Lakshmis is really representing the gopis. It's really referring to the gopis. Where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree. Where the soil is the purpose gem. This is the spiritual world. The soil is the purpose gem. All water is nectar. Every word is a song. We don't have to make an effort. Everything is a song. Every gait, every movement is a dance. The flute is the favorite attendant. Effulgence is full of transcendental bliss. And the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. Why tasty? Because they're all tasting rasa. And because Krishna is tasting the rasa, that they are testing them, they are feeling themselves. Where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk. Where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away, even for the space of half a moment. Imagine that you put something in your mouth, some prasadam, that is so tasty and is so delicious, and after 10 seconds, that taste is gone. But here, every taste is eternally present. Every emotion is eternally present, and ever increasing, and ever more and more perfect, more and more perfect, and ever more filled with the backdrop, which is the love that these residents of Vrindavan have for the Supreme Lord. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. How important it is that we listen these pastimes, that we understand that this is an extraordinary opportunity for us to connect with the spiritual world. And so the purport is long and interesting, but all these elements that I was presenting that are in the chapter are expressed in this verse. Yes, sir. Comments, questions, corrections, realizations? Oh yeah, rasa. How would we define rasa? There's the definition for rasa in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rasa is the combination of all the transcendental emotions that we can experience. And it's interesting because somebody was asking a question the other day, and I had heard an answer to that question before. It's like we, in our conditioned state, in our material, situated within the material bodies, we don't have the capacity for experiencing these extremely intense and powerful feelings unless and until our consciousness becomes totally purified. And the example given was that as the milk of a lioness cannot be kept in an earthen pot because it's so strong that it breaks the pot, these emotions cannot be contained within the consciousness of a person that is not 1000% pure. But they can be contained once what's the word? Crisol. The crucible. Once the crucible is turned into gold, then all these emotions can be contained. And not only all these emotions, but remember that these emotions, being eternally present, are also eternally growing and always manifesting in different flavors. Because as it's been said in class so many times, everyone is unique. And everyone's sentiments of devotion for the Supreme Lord and the manifestation of that devotion is absolutely unique. And so there are unlimited living entities, because Krishna is enjoying from the living entities, through the living entities' love, in unlimited ways. Mother Krishna Priya, you had a question or comment? Thank you very much.